Wait, why are we showing this A-class rental here? No, this is our Airbnb. We're gonna go check out some real investor B and C class properties on this Atlanta Birmingham tour. Here's the first property.
155. Whoa, they know something I don't.
And so they're getting right about 1% rent to value.
Yeah, we got it listed for $1,575.
Split level, you up and down.
But so, how much money did they put into it? So they bought it for one.
Sellers did the rehab.
What?
Yeah, so they bought it in this condition. This is the turnkey.
So if my net worth was under $250,000, I was still looking into pick up some turnkey rentals remotely. This would be the exact kind of rental I would kind of pick up. I think it's 120 to 130,000, and the rents are right about 1%, probably about 1,100, 1,200 a month. This is what you want. It's you're gonna get a higher quality tenant, less headaches, and this property will likely appreciate over the years, maybe even 150 in the next few years, for all we know. And then you can sell it and move into bigger deals. I think everybody falls in love with those other numbers, such as like $70,000 that'll rent for 800, but I wouldn't do any of those kind of properties. Those are typically more headaches and just difficult. The tenants are harder on those properties. I don't know what this house flipper was thinking. I mean, there was a lot of nice stuff in this rental, for sure. I would have just flipped this property to go to retail and taken my money and run. I think the guys who came on the tour, you know, this was one of the first properties we went to. We're gonna go see some really bad stuff here in a little bit. But maybe I just kind of a sick, twisted person, but I wanted to bring them up just to bring them down and show them some ugly stuff a little later on. So you'll see some of that too. If you guys are interested in more tours just like this, go to simplepassivecasual.com/events for our next tour or mastermind.
We must have had this weekend 20 showings. So I mean, Tracy back in my office probably, I'm assuming about and if we don't get applications, then I know the prices are up. When I have this much volume of, people coming through and no apps, then I know.
So when they leave, if it's a mess, I mean, we do drive-bys and we'll give them, a violation and say, hey, you need to clean up your lawn. But if they don't and they leave, we'll just get it cleaned up out of their security deposit one time.
Now these next set of properties are going to be in the inner core of Atlanta. Typically these properties, you won't find the rent to value ratios necessary to be able to cash flow. Typically we're buying on the outer rim, but these are more retail flips that the owner is going to be doing.
Layout that's not going to cost the most money for them.
So this house was abandoned for a while?
This house was, it's been abandoned for a while. But
Marsuce that we're using.
still a little bit of spider webs. So
It doesn't help being tall.
no, I'll try to
Yeah,
get
you
all
go
of them
first.
out of the way if I can.
Yeah, thanks.
Some of our big challenges with this house was kind of this kind of add-on, this built-in room. Just because you have your cinder block walls, and it's just going to take a lot of framing work in order to get this turned into a layout that works for somebody. Wow. Yeah, and it's this one right now. It's going to end out being probably around the 150 or so range to do all the work here. But I mean, I'm hanging out here for a few hours, but it's not too bad.
You're seeing worse, is that what you said?
Yeah, the next one's a lot better than this at the moment. That's kind of our stage 2 that we're out. Trying to find a layout for this has been it's slowed us down. It's taken us, a month or so that we're still in the workings of trying to get a layout knocked
There's
out.
some clothes in the closet if you guys.
Yeah, if you get a little cold or
Yeah.
Somebody lost their possession.
Boy, this window just looks like a hole. Yeah.
This is the saddest ceiling fan I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, poor ceiling fan. Actually, it looks like a helicopter.
Square footage and just the size.
You probably just bought it from the town?
No, it was a foreclosure. Yeah. It was a foreclosure that we had on. I'm pretty sure.
And then you just called the fixers and...
What do you guys do for like asbestos and stuff?
If it's asbestos, like if it's been deemed an asbestos site, you know, we'll have to have an abatement
Hope
crew.
you guys like the spooky music in here. If I were alone, I probably wouldn't go inside of here. This bathroom's pretty scary too. Heading to the next project here.
Site visit, you know, after we've come out and scoped it out, this is generally what it's going to take. Then we'll bring out our architect with our survey, you know, bring out the crews to kind of sure in that number just so we can make sure that it falls within that range. If you're doing one at a time by yourself, like, we're probably not the best bet, but if you're doing like a couple at a time and you don't want to be meeting up with a whole bunch of people, that's kind of where our ballpark is.
Yeah, that's your sweet spot.
Looks like you started working on this one already.
Okay. So we're eliminating this bedroom, but we're making up for it upstairs. The whole bedroom's gonna go away. I was saying we're able to steal another bedroom. This was like an upstairs master bathroom for whatever reason. It's crazy. But we're gonna, with that room downstairs being taken away, we're converting this kind of mechanical closet over here. Converting all this into a bedroom. This is gonna be like a bedroom, bathroom over here, and then the same on the other side is gonna be a bedroom, bathroom.
And heading to the next project here in progress. This one's probably more of a rental class property, or class C and B.
I think it was like right there, yeah. Right there. But they're gonna just lay this at one level and then put hardwoods over the top. But it's gonna be a really cool concept, and they're not spending that much money to do it. Yeah, you can essentially see it. Right, you just walk straight over and like you're in the kitchen, you're gonna have a little island here. This is gonna be a little bar.
You know, a lot of these projects that we checked out are going to be $50,000 to $150,000 in scope, down to the studs. You know, for most newer investors, I would suggest staying under $5,000 a rehab, if anything. That's why I like the turnkey route, because a lot of us passive investors in my group or high-paid professionals, short on time, we've got some cash, so let's go and spend it on properties that are already ready to go. But it is kind of cool to see the inner workings of these things, and you know, that's what's nice coming on tour.
There's a nice little mechanical place, not using a room inside the house, but keeping it contained in the attic, saving us that extra square footage from the little one.
So this was... What was this?
This was one little tiny bedroom. Like, you kind of see, like, you walk up the stairs, it was just kind of like a U-shaped room. You can see where we've added on, like, these wings on each side.
You guys knocked out the walls on the little bedroom and just brought it all the way up.
Pushed everything out. We stayed on the footprint, and that's what saves a bunch of money. Redoing this roof, it sucked, but it was cheaper than, you know, having to re-pour a whole foundation. But you got a solid 2-bedroom up here now, and an awesome shared bathroom. Like it's a huge space for 2 kids to share that for a bathroom.
In my professional career as an engineer, I've built more bridges and roads and more horizontal type of construction. So a lot of this vertical construction is new to me. Like, you know, here are the better version of the PVC pipes.
From the road, you would never be able to tell, but coming back here, they're just gonna go back out.
The reason why you come on a tour is to hang out with the other people that are like-minded, and hopefully you can build a connection with them. And then as we head off to Birmingham from Atlanta, we're gonna go to my old stomping grounds where I bought my first properties in Center Point, which is northeast.
1.5. It was built in 1958, and it's about 1,100 square feet. just an FYI, the house across the street, this one we sold. This, you talk about the comms mat. So this is a house we sold to, it was a 3-2 that we sold to another turnkey buyer for when we bought this property, the reason we got it so cheap is because it has structural issues. And so that all that needs to be corrected. That's about $5,000 to $6,000 in repair.
Part of the process of coming on a tour is you start to get desensitized to B and C properties. I think when guys first come on a tour, they would never even set foot of them. Now they get so accustomed to it.
So they are probably, I'd say, past the halfway mark on this one. I'd say this one will be completed probably within the next 2 weeks. Maybe.
So is it vinyl plank or do you put?
No. This will go down in the kitchen. We are going to keep these hardwood floors. We'll restore them. They'll look. Some of the other houses that are finished, you'll see them. They'll just be the drums in.
Now these projects are a lot less in scope than the ones that we saw in Atlanta. Still, you're looking in the range of $20,000 to $60,000 of construction scope here. Here's our next property.
This is 220 Garden Lane. This is a 4-bedroom, 1-bath house. The tenant's already been approved Section 8 at 905. She's moving in on the 31st.
So for a section 905, like how much of that would be government anything versus the tenant paying?
100%. Section 8.
100%?
It's guaranteed, right? So if she gets in a car accident, can't pay her rent.
Section 8 is the deposit. Very low risk, right. The only thing is we finished it. The cleaners who has to come in, so it's a little messy. The camera pops, of course, have to be cleaned. So these hardwood floors were pretty beat up. Jeff made the decision to paint them and then polyurethane them. You can see in the kitchen, kind of we use the same materials. They use the silicone materials. You can see the design.
Now, what a lot of people don't realize are, turnkey providers are really just flippers. And flippers can make money a variety of ways by selling properties to investors like us, or they can sell their properties to retail buyers. Quite frankly, retail buyers are a lot more lucrative, and the higher end flips are a better way of making money for these flippers. Here's a pretty interesting shutter that I'm probably going to use in some of my apartments, but they look pretty nice. So what is the process on, like, the inspector comes out for Section 8 and then they have some findings. What's the time period and how does that all?
Usually they're repaired within 7 days, and then they'll either, because we have a good relationship with them, we'll send them video or photos, and they're saying you're fine, you've passed. Or on some occasion, if it's a new inspector, they're going to want to come out and then give it the green light, pass it, and then
But it's not like, oh, you're decommissioned, next month you're not getting your check.
It does happen on some of those properties with other owners, like the girl who's actually renting this property. The property she was in, it got decertified by Section 8 because the owner did not want to make the repairs.
Yeah.
And so she was then required to move.
What are some of those findings, the typical?
The minor things, it could be like outlets that are not grounded, doors that don't latch properly. It could be not having an expansion tank with above the water tank. If there's a leaky roof, or let's say the hot water is not working, or there's gaps in the plumbing, so rodents and termites can come in and the owner hasn't addressed it. Those are a lot of the things that they'll look for, but I mean, they'll fail you on silly things like if you don't have like a drain plug, in the or a strainer in the sink, they'll fail you just based on that. So there's a 8-page punch list for Section 8 that we know well. So every time we do the renovations, we go through that list to make sure that we handle all those things. So the inspection on this one was Friday morning. Steve Davis did the inspection. He's a Section 8 inspector, and we work with him a lot. And he passed immediately because they know when they see our properties, they might find 1 or 2 minor things and tell Jeff, hey, go take care of it. and then Jeff will do it, send him a photo or video, and then Steve is like, you're good, you're passed. He sends it in, and then Section 8 now authorizes to go sign the lease. We collect the deposit. Section 8, I have to go in, or they're going to send us the HAP contract, the housing contract we have to sign. We sign the lease with the tenants, and then we do the move-in. On the day of move-in, we have the move-in inspection report.
Now this next property is definitely going to be a Class C rental grade property. And by this time, after seeing almost a dozen properties, I think the guys on this tour, they understood what was a B class and what was a C class, what was a B class area and C class area. I guess nice church across the street, that's always nice.
The floor, once we clean it, will be fine, but Jeff made the decision we don't not have to replace this floor.
What is this? This is.
When do you guys drop the appliances?
Sorry?
When do you drop?
We'll put it in the stove.
When? Like right when the tenant moves in?
By the time we do the Section 8 inspection.
Okay. Now a lot of these Class C properties in Birmingham, you're going to want a Section 8 tenant in there. And I think most investors, when they first hear Section 8, they want nothing to do with it. But I think most sophisticated investors know that Section 8 is free money and it's reliable money from the government. I had a couple rentals where, you know, time and time again, the tenant only had to pay like $50 or $27 and they were always late. But the government was always there to put in their lion's share of the rent. So it's a great program. I like it a lot. Alright, another property here. And every time I come out to the field and I check out more properties, I find something else that's cool. And this time it's these butcher block countertops. They're pretty inexpensive, but I think they look pretty awesome, and I'm probably going to start using them in the apartments.
So the reason this is more high-end because originally we were going to go retail flip on this, and we may. I think it's about 115. So it just depends. We'll put it out as a for sale, or we'll put it out as a turnkey. If we have a hit on number on the turnkey, we'll sell it turnkey. If we get 120 plus on the retail, we'll sell it as retail. But this is a little bit higher end. You can see we put stainless steel appliances,
Wanted to point out the pretty outdated tile there. Something we're doing on the Gulfport apartments, or we're putting on a polyurethane layer on top of that, and it's giving it a much more modern look while not having to rip out the good materials like the tile. I hope you guys are liking the musical selection. But you know, Birmingham is an old-fashioned town. It's very slow moving and in terms of permitting and development, and that's one of the reasons why I like Birmingham, because as a landlord, you know, another good thing is you have all the laws in your direction. If someone's not paying, you kick them out. It's not like California where you got to wait 9 months to get a non-paying tenant out of there. Big yards in all of these houses. You know, this is the country.
brand spanking new. Like I said, this is a $65,000 rebound on this property. You can see we put the high-end appliances in here. A couple of bedrooms back here as well. But we are in final prep. We're about 95% done with this property.
What's the purchase price and the estimated rents?
Probably between 140 and 145. This is going to go retail. But at least you can see the high-end finishings. You can see what we do with the floors. You know, the hardwood floors in the kitchen is all new. This is all blended. Because this all had to be gutted out. The subfloor was rotted, so we had to completely tear everything out down to the studs and rebuild it. You can see how you know.
And remember, this is more of a higher end flip here. It's not really rental grade, but part of the reason we just wanted to see a bunch of houses, and I always tell my mastermind students in my passive investor accelerator that you just want to get a bunch of data points in terms of houses and neighborhoods, and sometimes you just want to walk down the street, walk around the block, get a sense of the neighborhood.
All this is new. This was really just one big room. We put in another bathroom and we put in this closet here. So all this drywall that you're seeing, including the bathroom. This is your new Airbnb.
Alright, this property is for sale, and if you guys want it, go ahead and shoot me an email at laneandsimplepassivecashflow.com quick. No, just kidding. This is my third to the last rental that I'm rehabbing. The tenant moved out, so I'm going to rehab it and sell it retail so it can sell quickly and I can get the best dollar price on it and off to bigger and better things. It was a great rental for me. When the tenant was in there, it was awesome cash flow, and it also appreciated a little bit.
Lane, it doesn't look like it needs a whole lot. The issue is getting your electrical permit.
Yeah.
And the problem is they're gonna come in here and they're gonna see all this other stuff. They're gonna want you to pull permits on.
Alright, here's our last rental that we're gonna check out in Birmingham. Section 8 lives here. The tenant was kind enough to let us take a look while they're there. Actually pretty clean in terms of not too much clutter. Also not very much furniture. It's always kind of funny, these tenants, it's Section 8, but they've got bigger TVs than I do. Certainly more space than I do at my house. But all these households are single mothers. Section 8, it allows them to get a voucher based on how big their family is, and a lot of these people are good, hardworking folks, and providing good, stable, reliable housing and to fix things when they need it is kind of what it's all about, and also make a nice return to while you're doing it. That's Rob, my property manager. He's kind of doing his walkthrough on this property while we are checking it out. And here is the club, the exclusive country club that we had dinner last night there in Birmingham. Hopefully you can make it on our next tour.